Yo, and we back. Welcome to another episode of Unofficially Retired. I'm your host Judah the Shooter, and we do all facts, no fluff over here, man. Will not be before y'all long, as the preachers say today, but I really mean it. Like I'm not going to be here long. I got things to do. Sorry, I started a little late, but I told y'all gotta like, comment, subscribe, and hit that post notification for me not to be late no more. I work a job where I'm done is when I'm done. You feel me? When I'm done is when I'm done. So if y'all would like me to be here at 5 o'clock on the dot, because we live at 5, that's what I always tell y'all. You know, y'all do those three things: like, comment, subscribe. You share it. You show some people. You do all of that. You know what I mean? Hit that post notification when you go to the YouTube channel. After you hit subscribe, there is a bell right next to it. If you hit that bell anytime I go live, like today, if I'm late, if I'm early, if it's a day not Thursday, you'll know when I'm live. So, you know, you know, if you rock with me, come rock with me. All right, but no, let's get into it, man. I ain't got all day like I told y'all. Checking the receipts. You see, this how like behind I am on that one. Week 7 is crazy considering it was week 9 last week. But there you go. Checking the receipts, week 9, man. I had a rough one. There was a lot of surprises this week. There was a lot of things I thought was locks in the locker shock. And I told y'all, that's why it's called locker shock. You're either going to be in shock that I was wrong, like I was, or it's going to be a lock. And you can probably put that on a ticket and bet it somewhere. You feel me? But Baltimore came in there, whooped up the Dolphins like I thought. Chicago almost folded, but Caleb and Coast and Loveland said, "Not so fast, Cincy." Um, the Giants play the Bears this week. I'm not gonna hype them too much. Y'all know how this goes. The Patriots handled business against the Falcons. The Falcons made that very, very interesting. That was a very good game. Kicker missed the extra point. I know all about it, brother. I know all about it, Falcons fans. I'm sorry, y'all. Obviously, next one, Giants took that L. That just didn't look good from jump. The Colts finally lost. I actually finally put some faith in them. We'll talk about them a little later on. I actually finally put some faith in them, and they folded to the AARP members that are the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, that's neither here nor there on that one. The Chargers pulled out a dub against the Titans. Yes, I said pulled out a dub. It was not pretty at all. It was not pretty. Where we at? Detroit. Detroit got JJ McCarthy, man. I still don't know how I feel about JJ. I don't know if the book is out on JJ. I think it's okay. Let me change that. It's too early for the book to be out on JJ. I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know if he's real NFL caliber quarterback. We'll see. But that's a good dub. The 2 dubs he has had been very good dubs, and he's played well in those 3rd and 13, I think it was, and you got to throw the ball on that down. He made that play, back shoulder to Naylor. It was a beautiful throw. I can't hate on him. Shout out JJ, man. Green Bay took a L against Carolina. Bryce Young had 1 road win in his career prior to this season. He has 2 this season. 2 against some actual good teams. So shout out to Bryce and the Panthers. They actually 5-4 over there. Yeah, I can't say really much. Green Bay is a little bit of a disappointment. If I had more time today, we would do contenders or pretenders, and they would be in here, and I would want to see what y'all was feeling about that. I'm not even gonna lie, because it's like every game that they should just easily run away with. I ain't gonna say run away with. This is the NFL. Every game that I feel that this should be like a no-brainer whether or not they win, it's usually not. So this I don't know how to feel about Green Bay yet, but shout out Bryce and the boys. Houston took the L. I thought they was gonna beat Denver. They were very, very close because, like I said, I'm not scared of that Denver offense whatsoever. But they were very, very close to that. But they didn't. I don't know. Bo Nix has magic in the 4th quarter. Apparently, like he started putting the voodoo on the other teams because this game should have at minimum gone to overtime, and it never saw overtime. The Rams handled business. The Jags snuck out a win. KC, I told y'all. Now I've just picked KC kind of to pick them, but I told y'all Buffalo beats them every year in the regular season. It's nothing new, like at all. Nothing slightly confusing about that. So I'm not really surprised that Kansas City lost. Kansas City is on the outside looking into the playoffs right now. That is a little surprising, but still got the faith in them. I think they've earned that. Seattle's been looking fucking good, people. Seattle's been looking amazing. Sam Darnold, hey, he might be showing y'all why he was picked in the top five. Just, letting y'all know that right now. The Cowboys did dirt. They did dirt. My Dukes, the Cowboys did us dirt. The Cowboys do what they do, and we'll talk about them a little later too as well. Just give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. Had to be a parent. My apologies. Moving on though, man. I was checking the receipts. Moving on, player of the week. I told y'all Seattle was cooking. I got your boy Sam Darnold, man. 21 of 24, 330 yards, 4 touchdown passes. He was 14 of 14 and almost had 300 at the half. I'm talking about on a heater. Sam Darnold was cooking, bro. Can't take nothing away from him. I honestly think if we had a new MVP race, he would probably be in first. He'd be in top three. Top three. Some people might put Daniel Jones in there based on the success they're having, but after he had that stinker, I don't really think I could put them up there. So if I had to make an MVP right now, and it might be, Jonathan Taylor, JSN, who also had 8 receptions and 129 yards in this game, and he's on pace to be the first 2,000-yard receiver in NFL history. So shout out to JSN, but I probably go Jonathan Taylor, JSN, Sam Darnold, Baker, Daniel Jones. Not in that order, but that'd probably be my top 5. I really don't want to include Daniel Jones in there, but that might be a little personal. So to try to be as unbiased as possible, I am going to include him in there. You know what I mean? Moving on, man. Weekly Audible. Everything changed week by week. Beautiful things happen in the NFL, and just crazy things also happen. So, let's get into it. Speaking of Daniel Jones and them Colts, the Colts spent. And that's why I said trade deadline madness. That's the title of this video. The Jets blew it up, and we're gonna talk about them too. The Jets blew it up, and the Colts went fishing. I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me. The Colts sent 2 first-round picks to the New York Jets for Sauce Gardner, cornerback. Corner was one of the only holes, only real holes that this Colts defense had to fill. And they went for gusto. I'm not gonna lie, they went after one of the best corners in the league, and they pulled it off. So I'm not mad at it at all. Can't be. But 2 first rounders is a little steep, and I say 2 first rounders led me to this question. How much pressure is on Daniel Jones? How much pressure is Daniel Jones under, to lead the Colts to a Super Bowl? I wrote this and still can't read it apparently. How much pressure is he under to lead the Colts to a Super Bowl? I'd say a tremendous amount. By giving away 2 first rounders, you just basically said I'm not going to be in the quarterback market anytime soon. You got to use your first rounder to get a quarterback in the draft, or you have to trade your first rounders to get a already established active quarterback. I just think trading two number 1 picks when you've played 9 games of Daniel Jones, and then he had the 5 turnover game, 2 fumbles and 3 picks. against a defense that hadn't been that great all year. I think that's a little insane. I think you just pushed all your chips in the middle on a guy who is never been more than mediocre in the NFL, who's also never finished but one season in the NFL. He doesn't finish seasons healthy. Now, you could say that's because he was with the Giants and that's because he was behind a battle line. Cool. I'll take that. Is what it is. But he does not finish these games healthy. So, finish these seasons healthy, excuse me. So, Shane Steichen, you run a quarterback designed run that has nothing to do with offensive line for real, and he gets hurt. You gonna go to AR? Like, do you think that you just, if you're a Colts fan, do you think that you just made this team that much better that it doesn't matter who's at quarterback? That if you just so happen to have the revolving door at quarterback, that it's gonna be okay for y'all? I'm not, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. If I'm being honest, actually, I am. I think it's dumb. Uh, I, maybe that's the only thing Sauce was gonna be worth. That's the only thing the Jets was willing to trade him for was 2 firsts, and that was where they drew their line at. I might have just had to say no and went shopping elsewhere. I don't think you had to go that big of game hunting, especially considering they're always above average. I could say this team is always pretty solid, no matter who's at quarterback. I guess adding that bit of defense made you feel like you just gonna get it done this year. I don't know. I don't know. I say I know and I say it's dumb, but if it works, then it works. Like you just strike while the iron's hot, then cool. I don't think no iron that Daniel Jones owns gets that hot, but maybe, maybe it was us. That's what people tend to think. Maybe it was the Giants. So yeah, I don't. To answer this question, a tremendous amount because they pretty much said, "Hey, you're our guy," and if y'all don't understand that, he's on a 1 year deal. The franchise tag next, the franchise tag for quarterbacks next year is like $46 million. So you might as well give him a contract. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. He got them bent over the barrel as far as leverage goes. So Indiana, I think you found your guy. Indiana Jones is there to stay, in my opinion. If they do anything else, that would super shock me. But you know, that's neither here nor there, I guess. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. Better trade deadline. Eagles are. I mean, excuse me. I'm reading something with the Eagles. I was reading something about Jalen Phillips. Jets or the Cowboys. I did not include the Eagles in this. I think they moves were they've been making moves all year. I don't think theirs was trade deadline exclusive. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the Jets or the Cowboys. Uh, the Jets did more than trade Sauce Gardner. They traded Quentin Williams, their best defensive tackle as well. They didn't just trade their best corner. They didn't just trade their all-pro corner. They traded a Pro Bowl D tackle to the Dallas Cowboys for a first-round pick in next year's draft and a second-round pick in this year's draft. Um, Good move for the Cowboys, but I don't know. I'll take that back. I know I've been saying I don't know a lot, but these trade deadline things have been tricky for some of these teams. For the Cowboys, I'll say I don't think this does anything for you right now. And I think with this not doing anything for you right now, you could have done this offseason. I'm pretty sure this trade was still on the table in this offseason. Quinn Williams wasn't going nowhere else. I mean, unless you just heard or just knew for a fact that somebody else was going to trade for him by the trade deadline, then I think this could have been done during the offseason, in which he could have helped you the whole year. And I mean, it'll have some benefit. Like, don't get me wrong, he's 27, 28. I think he's about to turn 28. It'll have some juice this year, putting him next to Kenny Clark or Diggy Zula. That will help your run defense for sure. But I'm not sure if that's. I'm not sure if it's worth it right now, to be honest. And then you add another D tackle who's not getting paid top of the market, but he's probably gonna ask for something close to the top of the market soon, within a year or two, um, or I would think next year. And then you got three D tackles all making $20 million a year. Like you probably gonna cut one of them, and it's probably gonna be Kenny Clark. So you acquire Kenny Clark in that Micah trade just to cut him or trade him away. Now, if you trade him, cool. Um, Trade him during the offseason or something if possible. Cool. You got something on that return, so that's just a part of the Micah package at that point. But you essentially traded away majority of what you got in the Micah trade uh, for Quentin Williams, who's a lesser player than Micah and older than Micah. So it's cool because it's like Jerry Jones, yay! You finally did something at the deadline, and I think Cowboys fans should be happy. Um, but this was a swing for the fences. I don't think they're winning the division. I don't think they make the playoffs, and if they make the playoffs, they definitely don't have a run at it. I know they're not winning the division. The division's wraps. The Eagles have that. Uh, and if they do sneak into the playoffs, if something random happens and they sneak in, then it's like, where do y'all really expect them to go? No further than they always go. So I can't really say that does much. You know what I mean? Sorry, y'all. It's a rough one. It's been a rough one today. But yeah, I'm just not sure. They also added Logan Wilson. The Cowboys also added Logan Wilson to their team, linebacker, for a seventh round pick. I would have used him on the Giants because we had lack of linebacker presence, and I feel like any team that kind of lacks a linebacker, you should go after a guy who has experience in this league and who's still active. Like I don't think you should just go get somebody off the street, especially if there's somebody active. But I will say this is a guy who wasn't playing on the 32nd ranked defense. So you go into the 31st ranked defense to play. I don't know. Maybe that's why they were ranked 32nd is because he wasn't playing. Maybe he had some sort of impact. Maybe they'd be 28th. Maybe they'd be 29th. Maybe they'd be 30th. But they'd be better than 32nd. Um, so I'm not mad at this move for the Cowboys, especially as the years go on. Let me say, especially for the future. But not a fan at all for real of doing this right now. I think this could have waited to the offseason for sure. Um, on the Jets side, Jets now have 5 first round picks in the next 2 years. Also, they get the better of the Cowboys Packers first round pick. That was another thing I forgot to mention. The Cowboys gave up their first round pick next year, but it's like on some NBA shit, like the better of the two picks goes to the Jets. So if Jordan Love gets hurt and the Packers have a top 10 pick next year, it goes to the Jets. If the Cowboys bottom out, which is possible, like when that got hurt, and you have a top 10 pick, top 12 pick that goes to the Jets to add to their already probably going to be top 10 pick. Like I don't know. I think the Jets win. I think the Jets had the better trade deadline for sure. Like I'm 100% almost positive that sounded crazy, right? 100% almost positive. But I'll say I'm leaning more toward the Jets having the better trade deadline than the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys made those moves for somewhat for the future, but they really did it for this year when you really are kind of out of it at this point. I think they 3-5-1, 3-6-1, something like that. You kind of out of it at this point, but you know, I guess it is what it is, and you're gonna take your shot. But I'm gonna take the Jets having 5 first round picks and then multiple seconds this year. I think you win, especially with the 2027 class. Jeremiah Smith, um, Arch might come in. I doubt it. His grandpa, uncle, dad, whatever, say he's staying 4 years. You got the Mendoza kid at IU if you want a quarterback. If you're the Jets, you could also use some of this draft capital to just trade for a quarterback elsewhere. Like I'm not saying this is happening, and I don't see it happening, but maybe like the Jets. I mean, maybe the Bengals are like, hey, we don't want Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? Which is insane, but maybe they do that. My dude said I wasn't on Prize Pick 2 weeks in a row. Plus, you have to see my outfit. Okay, send me a picture of the outfit. And shout out to you, man. You over there winning on Prize Picks. You know, I think some of them is from me. You know, and then that be on here. That is living proof. I know that's my mama, so that's a little hard, but I didn't tell her to do that. That's living proof for y'all. That is real life example for y'all. Put in these bets. I be telling y'all, man, make some money, make a little money on the side. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Moving on, man. Will Kyler Murray ever play in Arizona again? And we're going to wrap up here shortly, people. I'm sorry. We're going to get out of here. Will Kyler Murray ever play for Arizona again? I think the short answer is no. He does have a foot issue, foot injury, something like that. They put him on IR. That's the next 4 weeks. We're going into week 10. So the next time you could possibly see Kyler is week 13. If they continue to win or they continue to be competitive as they've been doing, which they have been winning games, you know, they will not play Kyler at all. They're just going to rock with Jacoby Brissett, the better of the two, or at least the better of the two for this team. And Kyler will probably be on a trade block. I don't think his contract is nothing crazy. I think he got 38 mil next year or something like that. It's pretty controllable. It's not that hard to trade, I'll say. Yeah, I think it's over for Kyler in Arizona, and I think it might be time for that anyway. Change of scenery ends up being good. Him and Tua will be the next two what's it called, reclamation projects. You feel me? When people just try to fix them, people be like, "Oh, you have some sort of talent, and I don't have a quarterback, so let me give it a shot." I can see Kyler being a New Orleans Saint if they don't decide to go that way in the draft. Just being honest. Moving on real quickly though, the Wild Wild West, the NFC and the AFC West is a shootout pretty much. Like the NFC West, let me look these up real quick. NFC West, Seahawks 6-2, Rams 6-2, Niners 6-3. That's rough. That's rough. But as far as answering this question, I think there's a wild card coming out of this division. Now that I think about it. But who's winning the division? I would have to look at schedules. I have not done that yet. So just based off what I've seen and how they're playing, I got, ooh, man, that's rough. Because Darnold's playing crazy, and the Seahawks just added Shaheed, so they got JSN, Cooper Kupp, and Shaheed. And that defense is actually probably the best defense currently in this division. I gotta go Stafford. I gotta go to Rams. Because when it comes down to quarterback and head coach, like if I'm gonna say these two are tie, my differentiations come from quarterback and head coach, and I think Sean McVay and Matt Stafford are just better at what they do than Sam Darnold and Mike McDonald. And when the chips is pushed to the middle, I just feel like I'm putting it all on somebody. I'm putting it on 9 in McVay, not 14 in McDonald. That's how I feel about that one. Feel me? Sorry, bro. I know you probably expect me to, rock with the Niners, but sorry, bro. Sorry. Uh, AFC West. Broncos 7-2, Chargers 6-3, Chiefs 5-4. They are third in this division, man. Ah, I can't pick the Broncos. I have no faith that this fourth quarter magic continues. I also have no faith in that offense, especially when they play a good defense. It's just It's just not there. That defense keeps them in the game, so that's cool. But I can't. I can't. Okay, now she's talking about I didn't send her a lineup. Hey, you weren't supposed to say that on here. I wasn't even supposed to click that. Anyway, no, I'm just playing. No, I'm gonna start sending them, man. I be sending her personal lineups, y'all. So uh, she be on me about it. But I get into that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take care of that. I don't think I can't trust the Broncos. I can't trust the Chargers now that Joe Alt is gone because everything has to be perfect for Justin Herbert to be successful. Apparently, like he can't succeed without his whole O line being good, all his receivers being good, and his head coach being the best. So you know, with those injuries, I don't trust it. I'm gonna just rock with the Chiefs for a safe bet. Gotta get out of here. We probably got here about 5 more minutes for y'all, man. Locker shock. I told y'all I'm a little behind, man. I'm a little behind. Let's take this off the screen real quick because we're going into week 10. We are going into week 10, not week 8. Um, Let me pull them up. And we're going to get out of here, people. Week 10. Tonight, we got the Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. I am going to take the Denver Broncos. I don't really trust. I don't. You can't trust the Vegas Raiders. That's trusting Geno. No, I'm not. Yeah, Denver got off on this one, so I'm taking Denver in this first one. 9:30 a.m. You got Atlanta at the Colts. It's not really at the Colts. They're in Germany. Atlanta played a good one, man. And as long as that didn't like break their spirit, I'm taking the Falcons on this one. As long as that didn't break their spirit, man, because I've seen this Daniel Jones thing before. Them turnovers start, they don't stop. So we shall see about that one. Jacksonville at Houston. Give me at Houston. That's gonna be a good one. I went with Houston last week. Let's go with the Jags. I don't know if CJ Stroud's gonna play, so we're gonna go with the Jags because he did get hurt in that last game. Buffalo at Miami. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Tua. Yeah. And the worst version of the Dolphins because they already lost Jalen Phillips. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Well, that's not gonna be interesting at all. Jets at Browns. Oh, I'm taking Cleveland. The Jets were awful before they traded all of their best players. So being bad and then trading all your best players does not get you better this year. So I'm taking the Browns. New England at Tampa. That's going to be a very good game. Just off rip, just off looking at it, I don't know who's going to play, who's healthy. You know that those reports come out around Friday, Saturday. Um, Possible MVP Drake May versus possible MVP Baker Mayfield. We in Tampa. Let's take the Bucks. We're gonna take Tampa on that one. Take Tampa. New Orleans at Carolina. We taking Carolina. They're really good at home. And the Saints stink. Tyler Shuck's game against whoever. What is his second game? Yeah. Give me Carolina. Giants at Chicago. I be writing before I give y'all my answer. Taking the Giants. You see that big ass flag behind me. Baltimore at Minnesota. I'm taking Baltimore. I think what JJ did was cute last week. I think you're gonna see a real MVP, real quarterback show up and show you how things get done. 405, we got Arizona at Seattle. I'm taking the Seahawks. Arizona has been playing really well, but I just don't think they can keep up, to be honest, especially with the Seahawks adding Shaheed. You have a possession receiver in Cooper Cup. You got a do-it-all receiver in JSN, and then you got somebody that could take the top off and Rashid Shaheed. So I'm taking the Seahawks. That's a division game, though, so that's kind of a toss-up, but I'm taking the Seahawks. This would be a good one. Rams at Niners. The Niners got the Rams in LA a few weeks ago, so I'm going to take the Rams again. And I'm sorry, I still can't trust these Niners. I don't know. They just gonna have to keep proving it to me. Definitely, I'm one of them. Just keep proving it to me. 425, you got Detroit at Washington. I'm taking Detroit. Detroit had a bad loss against Minnesota. They are in Washington, but no Jaden Daniels for at least 4 weeks. I think he's on IR with that dislocated elbow. Oh man, prayers up to him. And before we continue, uh, rest in peace, Marshawn Nealon, Cowboys DN, I believe, 24 years old. He it said a self-inflicted gunshot wound, fleeing from the police. I'll let y'all read the story yourself and make your own assessments on it. I don't know if I 100% agree with what I read, but y'all make your own discernment on that. But rest in peace. Much blessings and healing and things like that to his family. So I just had to get that out the way before we moved on. Sunday night, Pittsburgh at the Chargers. I know I talked a little bit crazy about Justin Herbert earlier, but that was about them winning the division, not winning this game. But I'm going to take the AARP, guys. I am going to take Pittsburgh, unfortunately. Excuse me. The one thing Pittsburgh does have is pass rusher. Is a solid front four guys who can get after the passer. So, especially Highsmith, and you got Cam Hayward, J.J. Watt. Against this offensive line, I saw what the Giants did to him, so I can only imagine. Especially after what they was able to do to the Colts and shake up Daniel Jones a little bit. So I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers in that one. And then Monday, 8:15, you got Philly at Green Bay. In Green Bay just dropped the ball. Philly coming off a bye. That's going to be a real good football game, people. I can't pick the Eagles, though. So we're going to go Green Bay for the dub. And, yeah, that's the last one. That's pretty much it at this point. Yeah, I ain't got nothing else. I appreciate y'all for locking in with me. See, I told you we weren't gonna be long, 32 minutes. We about 2 minutes over, but it's all right, man. So y'all go like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notification bell, send it to your friends, send it to your mommy, your auntie, your uncle. We love having y'all in here. We love the comments. We love the back and forth. And when I say we, I speak for me and everybody that support me. Feel me? So we appreciate it. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And now I'm about to do